Welcome to Trauma and Transcendence, where healing meets awakening. I'm Amanda M. Dodd, your guide on this transformative journey. Thank you for joining me on this episode. Let's transcend together. Hello, soulful seekers. Welcome back to Trauma and Transcendence. I've got another brand new guest for you. This one is a very long-time mentor and dear friend. I know that you're going to love her. This has been one of the first people who really helped me out in hypnotherapy in terms of exploring the transpersonal. So I'd like to go ahead and introduce Linda Thunberg. She's the CEO of NATH, a wonderful hypnotist, but most of all, a really good friend who actually lives within the same state. So if she's not careful, I may just show up with my kayaking and kidnap her for a trip. Welcome, Linda. How are you?
I'm good. Nice to see you again, Amanda. And yes, kayaking, but not today in Ohio because it's raining as usual. But hey, we have had some nice kayak trips together and conferences together and trips together. So, hey, it's nice to always talk with you.
Yeah, we're definitely going to have to aim for warmer because, man, it got cold fast. Yeah. But you have an incredible association. It's an association that has been around for some time and has a really rich and intricate history. I didn't get to meet the founders, so I only know NATH through you. But I'd love to hear how you feel about NATH and how you'd like to explain it.
Well, NATH, which actually stands for the National Association of Transpersonal Hypnotherapists, is the oldest transpersonal hypnotherapy association in the country. Dr. Alan Chips and his wife Dee co-founded it in 1989, believe it or not. And when Dr. Allen passed on in 2012, his wife took over for a little while, but she was grieving, and it's a big endeavor. And she asked me to take it over in 2017. So I have been the owner and the CEO since 2017. And it has been quite the endeavor. It is ever growing. It has grown really, really well in the last 5-6 years. People are much more interested in the transpersonal aspect of hypnotherapy.
So, in your words, what is transpersonal?
Well, transpersonal is body, mind, and spirit. It is, I always describe it as in a normal hypnosis session, there is the hypnotist and the client, and that's it. And in transpersonal hypnotherapy, we add in our client's spiritual beliefs, whatever that might be, and it makes that session so much stronger between the hypnotist, the client, and then the client's transpersonal, spiritual, body, mind, and spirit. It's all of it. Because when you include the holistic part of it, it encompasses all of your body, mind, and spirit, not just maybe one aspect.
That makes a lot of sense. So not only is it just spiritual hypnosis, but it's really looking at the wholeness of the client, their belief system, and the role that plays in their wellness.
Exactly. And how whatever aspect you're working on affects the whole body, mind, and spirit, because it doesn't just affect the body if you're looking at weight loss. It doesn't just affect the mind, it affects all of it, right? Yeah. And so we touch on all of that. And it really, really helps. It helps strengthen a session. I believe that it really instills a power in our clients. I like to say that I empower our clients for self-healing because it really is all self-healing.
Yeah, I like that ability to pull their power back and to really begin to step in their power and not be handing it over to a practitioner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
So it really puts them in an active role in their healing.
I always say that I'm not a healer. I am, and I hope our practitioners are just that. We're practitioners. We're facilitators of self-healing. But when you can pull in those spiritual aspects of your client and bring that into the session, it empowers them so much more. It just does.
Yeah. So I'm biased because I do a lot of spiritual hypnosis. I am a member of NATH, a very proud member. And So I know a lot of what it entails, but for someone who maybe doesn't have that experience, how are some of the sessions different?
Well, we can, in our interview, we can ask them what their spiritual beliefs are, if they want to include them. Um, how would your spiritual team be able to help you with this? How would you like them to help you with that? And we instill that into the session. Also, we do a lot of past life regression. We do a lot of life between lives. I also certify people in that so that you can get the whole realm of the spiritual hypnosis too. It's not just clinical hypnosis anymore, which is your habits, but we can delve into the spiritual side of things of who were you before? Who are you now? Where are you going? Where have you been? All of those kinds of questions, which really get answered in your more spiritual sessions as far as past life regression and life between lives. And most of our hypnotists, I will say, that are in our association do the full gambit. If somebody just wants to come to you for weight loss and doesn't want to involve any of their spiritual team, that's fine. And if somebody wants to come to you to do a life between lives transpersonal session, what we do is we follow our clients. We follow our clients wherever they go into the spiritual.
So when we're looking at life between lives, how does that differ from past life regression?
I like to call it's the full gambit of the life cycle. It starts here where you are in the present, goes through your childhood, goes through your prenatal, goes through a past life, then goes to where did you go when you transitioned from that life? Where did you go into that spiritual realm? And it goes the whole gambit of perhaps you've looked at the life that you just had before this one, and it goes into the pre-birth planning for this lifetime so that you can literally look at it and go, well, did I choose my parents? Did they choose me? How did this work? What's my purpose? Which is a lot of what everybody wants to know about in a life between lives, but what's my purpose in this life? What am I supposed to be doing? How am I doing on my path? So it can give you lots of answers to those questions. And the best part is that I'm not giving you those answers, or our hypnotists aren't. You are getting those answers from your spiritual team, from your higher self, from whatever you call it.
Yeah. And that really opens up the doorway for connection for them too. So then they really are stepping into their power, connecting to whatever source is for them. And what
Mm-hmm.
I love is you see people just go from feeling kind of lost to really integrated and connected. And then their purpose is like really active in them. You see their eyes become bright, they're happier, they have a better sense of themselves. Really transformational sessions, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. I like to tell my clients I wish I had a camera before and after, because you can literally see the physical changes on their face. You can see that knowing on them. Of course, I wouldn't do that to my clients, but it would be fantastic if I could, because they could see the change. They can feel the change, but they could actually see the change from their picture before and their picture after, because there are physical changes, there are emotional changes, just like that. Dr. Chips used to say that regression is the fastest way to make a permanent change in your life. And I totally believe that, because once you know, you can't go back. So we always say that we want to know and we want to know. And I don't know. And then when you know, you can't go back anymore. You can't go back to being that person without that perspective that you just had. And it's fascinating.
I think they also lose the desire to go back too, because then they've
Exactly.
got that clarity, so they don't feel like they need to do that. I had a client just yesterday. We were working on the Akashic records, and he had all of these really wonderful questions of, was I a star seed? What galactic origins do I have? Is my twin flame out there? We get into the session. He connects to his guide. His grandmother comes forward and she's talking all about his purpose in his life. And it's like, okay, do you still want to know about your galactic origins and your twin flame? And he's like, no, none of it matters.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I just had a client myself that we were doing a life between life session, and we asked for those questions. I thought I had a lot when I did mine. I had three written pages of type pages of questions. My client had 7. And I said to her, I don't know if we're going to be able to get to all of these questions, but you're absolutely right. What needs to come comes.
Yeah.
And sometimes the rest isn't needed, right? But we can pinpoint what is the most important for you to touch on. And it works fantastically.
Yeah. So they may not get the answers they wanted sometimes, but I think they definitely get what they need. And then it just really brings that clarity. It's so neat
Absolutely.
to be able to just watch and to witness. Yeah.
Hmm. It's
So,
really fascinating to me.
other than Life Between Lives, what other classes are available at NATH?
We do a basic certification course, which is more clinical. It's certified hypnotherapist transpersonal. So you do touch on the transpersonal. We do touch on a happy memory regression or a happy childhood regression session. So you learn how to do that. I teach those virtually. I teach them in person. I teach them at some metaphysical centers like the Edgar Casey's ARE down in Virginia Beach. I'm also going to be teaching that basic hypnosis course in Omega Institute in New York in June of 2025. We don't have our full schedule out yet for 2025. I've been a little busy with our conference coming up, but we will have them out very shortly on nath.world. So you can take that. First course is the certified hypnotist course. And then the second course is the master's transpersonal hypnotherapy course, which is a full 5 days of regression. I tell people we eat, sleep, and live regression for 5 days. And you become a master of transpersonal. So then you can do all of the fun work in the past lives, wherever that person takes you, or even in childhood, in utero. Sometimes those answers are in the womb that you never even thought would be there, right? And then we have our Life Between Lives course that we've talked about, which builds on the regression and goes even further. I also teach a specialty course in childhood chakra regression. I believe a lot of stuff happens in our childhood in this lifetime. And when we can have a change of perspective, when we can clear that out, it just changes our lives. So you can also become a certified childhood chakra regressionist as well. So those are the 4 courses that we have. And then we also have many workshops and certifications with our conference that we have every November. So that'll be coming up.
How does somebody know if they need a child chakra regression session?
I like to say that when something happens to us, that it's not, and we know that the reaction we are having is not the adult self who knows better. It is that 6-year-old out there running the show in our energy. And when the adult attitudes, the adult knowing is very different from what our reactions are, then you might need a childhood chakra regression to pull all of that energy back together. Because what I also believe is that when something happens to us in childhood, and everybody thinks it needs to be horrible physical abuse or horrible sexual abuse, and it does not. It can be that tiny little thing that we heard about us, and I swear there's a meridian cord right to our solar plexus from our ears that goes, oh, that's who I am. And it's our beliefs that are formed that then create this not working well with our self-esteem, what we put out to the world or what the world thinks of us, and our true self-worth, which is inside of us, right? So when there's that difference, when there's that fight going on, and a lot of people even recognize it, they know it, and they don't know how to fix it. I believe our chakras shatter, our energy shatters, which creates the emptiness in us, which creates the emptiness in our lives, which creates some of those reactions. And when we go into that session and put everything back together, you put it back together because I just am the follower, I'm the facilitator. It just creates a wholeness. And when that wholeness occurs, all of a sudden, and we do parts therapy, and those children are back inside of us as us, and now we're the adult taking care of the situation. We don't have those impulses and those reactions anymore. Makes our life much more happy, I believe.
Yeah, I feel a little better driving when I know the adult is driving.
Yes, exactly. Who's driving the show? That's
Not a
exactly
lot of,
true.
children on the road today.
Exactly. I
Those
totally
are
agree
really
with you.
powerful sessions that create like a lot of change, and not just immediately after the session, but for sometimes months and years after. Yeah.
Yeah, I truly believe it can create permanent changes in your body, mind, and spirit, in your whole energy system. Mm-hmm. It does.
Wow. And so you've got a great big conference coming up. It's an annual conference. I think I saw this is the 29th annual conference this year.
It is. So this is our 29th. That will be November 7th through the 11th. And we do have a couple of classes going on even after that, right at the in Virginia Beach. We have it at the Holiday Inn North Beach. So it is oceanfront. It is on the boardwalk. You can walk the boardwalk. You can do our meditations on the beach. We have a great time there. Our conference is a little different than other hypnotherapy conferences because we do have meditations, we do have Tai Chi, we have some things that are probably a little out of the ordinary for some other conferences, although more and more conferences are integrating the spiritual side of things too. And I think that's fantastic. But ours really focuses on that. We do have some business tracks of how to help your business, even your, maybe you have a metaphysical business, a healing business. We have tracks that do business. We have tracks that do the transpersonal realm. So we're not afraid to talk about intuition. We actually have an intuition circle one night. What else do we have? We have, so we do have lots of classes that talk about intuition, or, we've had writing classes, well, journaling classes. We have had handwriting analysis classes. We've had art, lots of art going on in some of our
Yes.
classes.
Desiree Sharini had an incredible one last
Exactly.
year of
Exactly.
actually working through painting. And I thought, oh, it was amazing. Just a neat
Mm-hmm.
way to bring through intuition, and also with hypnosis too, because then she takes that and then she puts it into a session. And then did I
Absolutely.
see that Peter Bloom is coming back this year?
He is with his sound healing, and he actually has a one-day workshop on transonics where he will teach you how to do all of the sounds and add it into your sessions and learn about sound. He's amazing. He's probably the master at it. He's also doing a sound bath on Friday evening for a whole $10 love offering. And if you've never been to one of Peter's sound baths, which I know you have, it is phenomenal. That's all I have to say. So yes, in our conference, we have sound baths. We have things that you can bring and lay down on the floor and go into your meditation with his sound. It's amazing.
Well, being that this is trauma and transcendence, I would be remiss if I didn't say that, yeah, his sound baths are what I would call transcendent for sure. You can go on a whole unguided journey within them.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, absolutely. So he'll be doing a few things at our conference this year. He has a couple of classes, and then he has his workshop, and then he has his sound bath too. He's doing one on being the shaman too, and bringing that into your hypnosis sessions. So I think that'll be fascinating as well.
And there's the part that I love because even though it's transpersonal, there's still a lot of clinical offerings. So in the
There
past,
is.
I've heard some really wonderfully well educated members of NATH come forward and talk about things like Alicia with knowing vicarious trauma. And so there's like so much of that that comes in too that's really powerful and helpful.
Mm-hmm. We do, and that is our third track beyond the transpersonal and the business realm. We do have a clinical track in our conference, which does talk about clinical hypnosis. I'm actually going to be talking about rapport and how rapport is so important in our sessions to have with our clients from the first thing. I'm just looking at our schedule now just to, we're doing some joy of bliss in your sessions. And Shelley Stockwell is doing the biggest mistakes that hypnotherapists can make in their sessions. What else do we have? Marketing. We have, and then we have transpersonal. We have being a pro in metaphysics, or another one for clinical is jazzing up your practice. healing words. And then we go back to the transpersonal, daydreams, doing daydreams. And then we go back to clinical, the psychology of addiction. So we really have a very nice mix of both, and then the business as well.
I will say, having attended quite a few conferences now, NATH was actually, no, Michigan was the first, but NATH was my first virtual conference that I'd attended.
Mhm.
And one thing that I've noticed is that it really is a chance to have a reprieve. I know you do virtual retreats. I'll ask you about those in a moment too, because that is one thing that NATH does that's different in supporting practitioners in their practice and their growth all throughout the year. But every time we go to these conferences, I feel like NATH is always a chance to kind of have more respite. It's more getting regrounded in myself and in my practice and bettering myself as a practitioner. How do
Mhm.
you feel about what makes NATH kind of special as far as a conference goes?
I feel like it's a homecoming almost. It's a chance because we're not the biggest conference in the country or in the world. It also allows you to network with like minds and to
Yeah.
network with the actual presenters. You can actually talk to our keynote. You can talk to our presenters. We have our vendors are in an area in an atrium right outside of our meeting rooms, so you can, and we have places to sit and just chat right there as well. So there's plenty of opportunity to actually network with people, find out what's going on in their business, how they've been for the past year. And because we are growing, we have new presenters this year. We have new presenters from different countries this year and from all over this country, not just the same presenters that we've had time after time, which I
I think
think
of
will really also bring with it some new insights to our NATH members and just make the conference even better than it's been. So I'm looking forward to it. We're calling this one energetic empowerment because, as you're talking about, it's just a really nice place to go for respite too. Just imagine, I'll use my hypnotic voice, just imagine being with so many other transpersonal hypnotherapists and just holistic people. You can't help but feel the energy. You can't help but feel like you belong, right? And I think that's what makes our conferences a little bit different than others. Besides that, we have NATH karaoke night on Saturday night after the awards, and we kind of just have fun with each other too, and that's always a great time.
I think
NATH
I
after
may
dark.
I think I may or may not have some blackmail photos from last year. I
There we
believe I
go.
saw
Exactly.
Vice President Dennis wearing one hell of a wig.
Yes, yes. I think that was Shelley Stockwell's wig, if I remember correctly. But hey, I'm not saying we get too crazy, but we do have fun on Saturday night too. So it is a very big mix of, you can start out your morning with a meditation walk on the beach and you can end it with karaoke. And in between you can learn so much stuff, right? So
Yes.
it's fun. It really is.
It's really nice to go to a conference and to not, because you talked about rapport. I feel like that's one thing that really does shine out through NATH as well, is you get to have so many connected conversations in between the classrooms as well. So what I love is being able to go there, and even as you're walking through a room, you can hear 5 different conversations happening and they are all woo and no one is looking at you like you've lost your marbles.
Exactly. Exactly. Absolutely. We understand. And we get a lot of just healers and things that come to the NATH conference too. You don't have to be a hypnotherapist to come to the conference. You can learn a lot about hypnotherapy. You can also join our intuitive circle, and you can join a lot of our other metaphysical things. This year we're also having John Thomas is going to be talking about Edgar Casey's predictions about the world, and the world changes and the weather changes. Edgar Casey had a map of the floods of the United States, and it's very apropos to the time right now. And he's going to be doing an hour talk on that. So we have lots of various and sundry different talks that I find that not everybody is a hypnotherapist that comes to our conference, and that's okay with us. We'd love for you to join us and become a hypnotherapist because it adds so much to other modalities. We have lots of therapists, psychologists, Reiki masters, massage therapists, nurses. And even we've had this year, I had, I think, 4 DOs, doctors, in our hypnosis classes because it can work so well with other modalities that you might have. So if you don't want
Absolutely.
to step into taking a class, you can step into taking our conference and go, is this for me or isn't it for me? And more than once I've heard it is for people. So maybe that'll give you a taste of it.
And trauma and transcendence, you have seen some of these presenters. I've presented at NATH before. Luke Howard will be at NATH. He's presenting this year. He's been on the podcast. He's a very passionate dude.
He's awesome. And he's young and he has so much energy in him and he has so much metaphysical knowledge.
That he really does. It's astounding, and I'm a fan of the Jesus hair and the shaman beads when he brings them out. The beautiful Brenda was also on the podcast. I
Mm,
believe she's going to be speaking this year, if not
she
talking
is.
about her book with Shelley. Yeah.
She is presenting with Shelley Stockwell, who is our keynote speaker as well this year. Shelley is, and Brenda is has written a book with her about relationships, and they will be doing a 2-hour class on that as well. Brenda's amazing.
Absolutely. And so lots of different speakers, a variety. We talked just before this about Dan Goyette, who is going to be doing a big workshop on your favorite topic, truly, podcasting. And so I will actually be joining this year as well because Dan is not going to be able to make it. And while I am no Dan Goyette, I will do my best because, man, he is one hell of a presenter. Have you seen him really?
Yes, he presented at NATH last year and he was amazing. And I really wanted him. And I
Yeah.
know he really wanted to come back this year, and circumstances, he just can't make it. But I am so glad to have you joining us, Amanda, because I think you will be great with starting your podcast over a year ago and getting an award
Yeah.
for that this year. So you must have done something right in the past year with your podcast. And I'm sure a lot of our NATH members would love to know that. And even if they aren't a member, they'd love to come and find out how to, because it doesn't have to be a podcast on hypnosis or even the
That's right.
woo-woo stuff, as you say, right? It can be a podcast on anything.
That's right. So come and join me. It's going to be a really great workshop. And if you want to get started on your podcast, I'm going to have everything that you need to get you going. And it can be whatever topic that speaks to your heart, that thing that really comes to life in you. So that's at least one workshop at NATH this year that I know is happening. What else is going?
Well, like I said, Shelley Stockwell is going to be our keynote speaker. She also has a 2-day certification on self hypnosis. Learn it and then teach it to others, teach it to your clients. You do not have to be a hypnotherapist to take that course. I actually just had a psychologist yesterday ask if she could come to Shelley's certification, and you absolutely can. Shelley's also doing her presentation with Brenda. And if you haven't been in one of Shelley's classes or seen her on a virtual retreat or seen her as a keynote, she has been doing hypnosis since the 60s and she is absolutely amazing. That's all I have to say. Well, I could say a lot more about Shelley, but come and see for yourself. And then we do
Yeah.
have our very own vice president, Dennis Lawson, is doing a 2-day certification on NLP, transpersonal style. So he will do NLP, but he will also infuse the metaphysical aspects of it, the transpersonal aspects of how you can do that in your sessions, whether you are a hypnotist or not, but he will gear it towards hypnosis. We have Luke Howard is doing a 1-day workshop on bringing energy into your sessions. So I can't wait for that one because I'm getting a little older. I need some more energy. And besides that, I am always just fascinated by how the young people are taking a different twist on hypnosis and how they are putting more energy modalities into their sessions and how great it's working. And as we talked about before, we have Peter Blum doing transonics for a 1-day workshop. We also have Susie Day is doing an empath workshop for a day long. So even if you are not a hypnotherapist, but you are an empath, which I am sure you have talked about on your podcast, you can come and learn how to manage that a little better, learn how to become a great empath, because it's not just, as you and I both know, Amanda, it's not just a derogatory thing. It can be the most beautiful part of yourself that does know things, right? And
Yes.
Susie will teach us how to work on both parts of that, right?
An
Um,
empowered empath is the most incredible thing. Absolutely.
exactly. We also have, I don't know if you know him, Amanda. He used to be a NATH member from a long time back. His name is Charles Baldy Dom, and he is from Florida. He was in one of our virtual retreats in August. The wealth and knowledge that this man has about hypnosis, and the clinical and the transpersonal realms of that is absolutely amazing. And he is very up to date on AI, and he is doing a workshop, AI and You, 4-hour workshop, and how to incorporate that. We also, it is such a hot topic. We have him on Friday, and on Monday, we have your very own friend and mine,
Yes,
Albert, is
that's right.
also talking about embracing the future with AI. So, whatever business that you're in, of course, we gear it to hypnosis, but whatever business you are in, AI is such a hot topic right now. And how can you use it to further your business? So, he will be talking on Monday afternoon, Albert will, from 2 to 6.
And
Uh,
he's actually a wonderful presenter. God, I'm like his personal fangirl, truly. We
exactly.
go from conference to conference together, and he's a powerful speaker. Not only does he do the AI work, and I'm wondering if he's going to be talking about his book at the conference, because he also does a lot around healing narcissistic type relating dynamics and really becoming deeply empowered and crushing self doubt. He's going to be on the podcast soon. He's an incredible speaker.
There you go. And those are probably, I think that's all of our pre and post. Amanda will be there now on Monday morning teaching you about podcasts, and Monday afternoon you can learn about AI. That's just one day. And those are just our pre and post offerings, whereas Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, our conference includes all of the 1 and 2 hour talks. So some are 1 hour, some are 2 hours. And we just, as we've talked about before, just have a gambit of anything from business to transpersonal to clinical hypnosis to, what are you going to have for lunch tomorrow? No, I'm just kidding. But there is a lot of transpersonal and intuitive things as well. Let me see if I
And
missed any here. Go ahead.
so I believe you're going to have to bear with me. We're getting wood delivered, and the dogs are losing their minds. That's life in
I
this
get it.
house.
At least they're protecting you. You never
Something
know.
like that.
After the door. Welcome to the
Something
world
like
of
that.
Zoom
Yeah.
and podcasts, right?
They really don't care about protecting my eardrums, but it is what it is.
That's true.
I
That's
believe
very
the
true.
hotel block is still open. Tell me a little bit more about that.
It is. We again are at the Holiday Inn North Beach in Virginia Beach. It is right on the boardwalk. You can get oceanfront rooms for $120 a night with our block of rooms we have. Those are all on nath.world/conference. You can see the schedule fully. You can see the brochure. You can see the room block, and you can get your room right there until October 21st. And then you'll have to pay higher rates. You can also register right there as well. I will tell you a secret on your podcast, which isn't going to be a secret anymore, but there is, for registration, there is a code that you can put in for registration that will save you a little bit of money. It's called Last Chance. So it's your last chance for any savings on the conference pricing, but it will save you a little bit of money. Put in Last Chance and you'll get a um, offering off of the regular price.
Okay.
Okay.
And so tickets are still available online.
They are. nath.world/conference will have all the information that you need. We love your puppies. We'll send them energy to be quiet now. Anyway, I think that's about all I have to tell you about the conference. We do have it every year in November. This year, like I said, it's November 7th through the 11th. we always have it in November. We like November. It's still warm at the beach. Last year, people were swimming in the ocean. I don't know what will happen this year, but last year it was warm down there. We'll see what happens this year. But anyway,
I don't know
and
if I'm
then
made for that, but there is still the lazy lagoon in the hotel. I have been there. It is good.
there is. This hotel is really quite fun. It has a lazy river. It has a hot tub. It has, of course, a pool indoors. It also has a movie theater indoors, which we do use for meditation in the morning. But then, if you decide that you need a break and need to get grounded, you can go watch a movie in the theater if you like, for free in this hotel. They also, of course, has the fitness room. They have a couple of restaurants for breakfast and a great restaurant upstairs, an Italian restaurant, which is right on the, it's up on the third floor, I think, but it overlooks the ocean. It's quite beautiful. That's where we have our banquet as well on Saturday night. We have a full dinner and awards, and that is in another room adjacent to the Italian restaurant, up on the third floor, overlooking the ocean. It's nice. I love the ocean. I think it gives people a destination to come to just relax as well, and to take time out for yourself to maybe learn something new. We do, you can use our conference for CEUs for your organization as long as they will accept them, but we will gladly give that out to you if you need it. So come and join us and have some fun, do some learning, get some reprieve from your daily life, and get with other energetic people of like minds. That's what I would say.
And there are always really great raffle prizes, very spiritual in nature, lots of products for sale. I enjoy that too. That's always a fun part of it.
Yep, and you can have different sessions with our vendors. We always have lots of crystals and stones there. We have, what else do we have? We have this year, we have somebody bringing a beamer. If you know what that is, if you don't know what it is, you'll have to come to our conference to find out. But it is a great healing modality instrument that they use that works long distance or in person. So you can have a session with that. Of course, Peter and Bloom will be there doing at his vendor's table, doing some sound, and he will have some sound bowls and all of that for sale as well. So if nothing else, if you're in the Virginia Beach area or anything, you want to just pop in and see what our conference is like. You don't even have to come to the conference. You could come in and see our vendors and get a taste and see what we're like, right? So.
And there are always field trips. It is close to the Edgar Casey ARE. So plan for an extra day. And I really do want to say give yourself a whole extra day if you can, because they've got seminars and workshops and, of course, the Edgar Casey shop. But most importantly, the library with all of Edgar Casey's readings. And if you know anything about the Akashic Records, you know I'm a huge fan, incredibly biased. That is worth spending some time and checking out.
Absolutely. I'm a member of ARE as well. You can have a membership there and actually be able to see all the readings and do all the readings. I spent 4 hours in the library the first time that I was there, so I loved it. I'm actually teaching again. I'm doing an intuitive virtual class for them in February and March of next year. I'll have that up on our calendar as well.
Yeah.
Pathways to Intuition will be there with me. And for our 2025 calendar, which is not out yet on NATH.world, but it will be very shortly, we do have virtual retreats. We have them 3 times a year, once a quarter. They are very nominal in price, like I'm talking $20 or $25. You can have 4 speakers for 4 hours. And then we do some networking as well on Zoom. It's all virtual. It has gone over. I started it in COVID when we were all feeling very much ostracized within ourselves and our homes, right? And I decided we needed a rejuvenation retreat. And they've stuck for, this will be the 5th year because people enjoy them so much. So we'll be having that. Once again, I'll be teaching. I usually teach the certified hypnotherapy course at least 3 times throughout the year. We'll teach the master's course at least twice throughout the year, 1 virtually, 1 in person. And the Life Between Lives course, we usually only teach once a year, sometimes twice, but usually only once. This year it will be being taught at the conference. Right after the conference, the Life Between Lives course will be taught, transpersonal style, starting on Tuesday through Saturday. So we do give you, if you're not taking any, of course you will be taking Amanda's class. So you'll be taking Amanda's class on Monday, maybe Albert's class Monday afternoon. Then you can have a nice dinner and start a 5-day class on Tuesday. We sometimes hit it hard, but it's like immersing in hypnosis. So we'll have that class as well as the MHT. I do teach the childhood regression course several times, at least 4 times throughout the year as well.
Mm-hmm.
And there's pathways to intuition. There's all kinds of things going on. So,
And then also the virtual retreats, those are open to anybody, correct? Not just members.
that's absolutely correct. Mm-hmm. And
And
we're
you do get a
always looking
recording.
for presenters as well. So if you have a healing modality, if you have a something that you'd like to share energetically that you think might be helpful for hypnotherapists or anybody else, come put a proposal in. That will be up on nath.world as well.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That is a lot to take in, but it's definitely going to be an amazing time. And again, that is November 7th to the 11th.
That's correct.
And so visiting nath.world is how you can find out more details and get started. I will post the group links for Facebook down below this video. So if you want more information, you know where to find it. Anything else that you'd like for people to know about NATH and the NATH conference this year?
Well, just come join our family. I think you'll like it because I can feel the energy already. So come join us. It'll be great. And thank you so much, Amanda, for all that you do and all that you are.
Thank you. And it's been foundational to have you as a friend, as a colleague, someone who's nearby that I could physically pester from time to time, and then also travel with and go to other conferences. It's been amazing to come into the hypnotherapy community because it really is unlike any other field that I've seen where people are just welcoming and supporting. And so I wouldn't be here had it not been for you taking me to many of the places that we went together.
Oh, I can't speak. You bring tears to my eyes because it is why I do what I do.
Mm-hmm.
It is why I teach hypnosis. It is why I mentor people. Is to see that light of metaphysics, of transpersonalism, of transpersonal hypnotherapy, and just of the woo-woo stuff as well, right? It's not as well, it's the good stuff. It is the whole. And just to watch that spread and to watch people that I have mentored grow. And my old mentor, I used to be an interior designer, and she said to me once, she said, because I beat her in the American Society of Interior Designers, I won first place over my mentor who had won for 25 years.
Wow.
And I was almost embarrassed to go back to her and say, oh, and she was there. She knew I won. And she said, you don't get it. She said, I'm so proud of you. She said, you're doing what I was doing. My job is to teach you how to not make the mistakes. And you're doing how well I'm doing. And it's only taking you 2 years. And that's what a mentor should do. A mentor should help you accelerate where you're going. And then to sit back, and now I'm in her shoes, sitting back, looking at you, looking at others, going, wow, that's so cool. I'm so glad that if you picked up some tidbits from me and wherever else, but I'm glad I could be part of that.
And that's the general sentiment of a lot of the NATH members. So it's not just the presenters, it's not just the teachers, but that is the community overall. So I hope to see you in Virginia Beach in November.
I will see you there. And I hope I'll see some of your people that are watching your podcast there. Just come and take a look. You might be surprised.
Yeah, and you can be a novice and you can just be curious. You can be hypno-curious, and you're very much welcome.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Amanda.
Bright blessings, everyone. Wishing you warmth, comfort, and bliss. And as always, stay inspired. Thank you for joining us on this transformative episode of Trauma and Transcendence. Your stories matter. I would love to hear them and from you. Connect on our website, healingbeyondtrauma.com, or drop me an email at amanda@healingbeyondtrauma.com. Remember, healing is a journey we take together. Until next time, stay connected, stay inspired. This is Amanda, wishing you bright blessings.